I'm a diabetic, so on a regular basis, every 6 months, we have blood work drawn just to make sure everything is the way it should be and everything's controlled. And this last October, it didn't come back the way that we wanted it to. 90% of the time it's absolutely clear, but this time we weren't so lucky.
October 2018.
So the doc called and he said, listen, we've seen some things in your blood and we don't like it. They're concerning, and we want a specialist to look at all of your results and to go over them with you and to see what our next steps might be. So I went in that day because I sent you to work thinking it's no big deal, it's not going to be a problem, and I can do this. And I went in that afternoon and he sat me down and he said, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have the markers for multiple myeloma. And my brain began racing and my heart began racing, and in my mind I tried to decipher what that meant, because multiple myeloma is a blood cancer.
Well, we did a lot of research on it. It's a blood cancer that affects a lot of different organs. There's no cure for it. It can be treated but not cured. And it's just not a good diagnosis. It takes a very big toll on the body.
We decided that we weren't going to share with very many people, that we needed to draw a small circle of warriors around us.
Our small group and our close friends and the pastors are about the only ones that knew.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool about community, that we already knew who in our circle we could gather around us, and who could gather and pray with us and believe with us and trust that God knew what he was doing. We knew that God was writing our story, and I knew it wasn't the end. Both of us had prayed, but we didn't know what it was going to look like. We knew he was writing a chapter. We didn't know what that chapter was going to be. We didn't know what kind of plot twist we were walking into.
And I don't want to pretend like we didn't have any worries, or that we were, giants of the faith here. I mean, we worked this out over a period of a month and a half of test after test after test, and a month and a half of waiting for a solid diagnosis.
Yeah.
And we worked it through until when we went to the doctor's office, I think we were ready for whatever he said.
Yeah.
We knew that whatever he had to say, the Lord would take us through.
Absolutely.
It was just a matter of how difficult it was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. And so we sat in that office and we talked and tried to joke back and forth and be silly together before he came in, and you could feel the weight in the room. And he walks in and he sits down and he just looks at us in the eyes and he doesn't say anything for a minute. And he simply said, I don't know how to explain this. I don't have any answers for what I'm about to tell you. And he said, your blood is completely clear. He said, everything that we've seen, everything that we suspected, everything that we had proof of is gone. There's no problems of any kind. He said, you are completely clear. Your blood is pure. He couldn't explain it, but we could. We knew what was going on. And in that moment, it was so amazing to know the power of Christ's blood had overruled everything that my blood had said.
We had gone into that office prepared for a diagnosis of cancer.
Yes.
And every indication, you had every marker for cancer. And so we were ready for that. And then he says, you're completely 100% whole. It was just, we knew what had happened. We knew that the Lord had touched you.
We knew that Jesus was in that room, and he had stepped in. And he writes the final line.
That's right.